Hi, it's Steve and Joe from Freshagenda, and we're here with another weekly take, Steve, and going to do a bit of a tour of our latest global dairy directions update that went out to subscribers last week.
Yeah, so broad terms, the outlook is for the fundamentals is positive. Improving global supply, though the chart on the right is important because that's showing that there is, after we've had a big essentially splurge of product on the market, effectively as intervention stocks were cleared and made their way into the trade. The net effect over time is that we see more demand, so there's a net demand position that's keeping markets tighter. So we're working through stocks, but in the short term, we're going to see a small improvement in global milk supply from the major producers.
Yes.
But that's going to be soaked up.
It's still a struggle, though. You can see there with that those small green bars on production. It's not booming.
Production conditions are difficult. In most regions. Look, second main point. I mean, they're the broad numbers that we project in terms of fundamental values.
Yes.
So protein to firm, fats to weaken, led by Europe in both cases. And the Oceania numbers should broadly follow. But that's our broad picture. And cheese remaining fairly flat in that picture as well. So a number of things to watch. Naturally, an outlook like this comes with a lot of conditions. So in the short term, the European situation, while the weather's got better, there seem to be feed shortages as a result of that. So there's talk of more cow culling to deal with some drought conditions. That's something to watch as it plays out, what that does to the production rebound. And the growth in Europe is, as to where that occurs, is really important for the supplies of butter and skim milk powder going forward. It's where butter demand gains traction, that where being at what price level. And that's been difficult. So prices are still falling in Europe, but we are seeing some prices locked in early next year at about where we are now. The New Zealand season, always a bit of a lottery. There are no red flags, so things are looking quite good.
No, June was positive, but it's a very small production
month.
Again.
Those climate maps, I'm not going to put one up here, but those climate maps are pretty green.
Yes.
Are very pretty green. Probably the biggest thing and big developments this week is the trade dispute between China and the US and the uncertainty that could continue to cause. We've seen a big currency jump in terms of the US dollar versus Asian currencies. That could create some demand side caution if that keeps running, if that uncertainty keeps running, and we see more knock-on effects. So that's a big one to watch, I think. How the US farm sector recovers, and lastly, how the South American milk production and whole milk powder output recovers. So that's a small menu of complex issues to watch as we go forward. And in this month's outlook, we flagged something that we're going to do a bit more work on in the next couple of months, is the recovery in butterfat markets, which have been cruelled by high prices. And so that little chart on the right at the top is just some recent data from our analysis of trade showing that overall butter trade is, it's still there and the net effect is positive. But you take out the weird one-offs, the big surge of fats going to North America because of very high prices there, so it's made imports competitive, and the Europe bar, which is Turkey in that case, which has had a large influx of product that's going to be steered somewhere else in the Middle East. Can't think where. So if you take those things out, then the trade into the developing world is actually well down. 12% in 6 months. It's running at the moment about 20% behind. It's how that corrects and what price we see that start to grow again is really the question we're asking.
Yeah, because it's that bottom chart just shows as you said, the hollowing out of demand at those high prices. It's been very patchy, so it's one to watch, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a structural shift again.
Yeah. So we've had a GDT event, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, we had a positive event last time round, slightly negative this time round, but not a disaster by any means, given the context of higher volumes and where we are in the season.
Yeah. So the carnage, however, resumed for fat prices,
Sure.
down about 5%.
So all those gains from last time were reversed and more.
And some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So put it into context, you've got a much weaker European market, which typically leads down Oceania prices when they're falling. Oceania prices usually are behind the European internal prices, still above. So it's just where that settles out. But as you can see, the changes in other products are a bit patchy. I wouldn't take the skim and whole milk results as being particularly negative, given the volumes that came on, and we're seeing a much higher offering this period. The result, however, unusual that we saw something where we had an across-the-board fall. So every number on our little analysis chart was red. So the first time we've seen that since early 2016.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Fun fact.
So everything offered fell. So that's a bit sobering. The result this time, though, while I say it was not bad in powders, whole milk powder was absolutely saved by Middle East buying.
Yeah, interesting.
Because the North Asia in China has backed off with the, I guess, the trade dispute worsening the currency, maybe a little bit of caution there, but we saw some Middle Eastern buys jump in, which kept things sane.
Mm-hmm.
And just an interesting snippet, we keep track of what this means in New Zealand dollar terms, and whilst the event was lower, the New Zealand dollar equivalent of that result was higher because the New Zealand currency is much weaker against the US dollar. So Kiwi farmers will take a bit of sobering new takeaway from that.
Yeah, but it's not all bad.
Not all bad. Okay, Joe, your chart of the week.
Chart of the week. Thought we'd nick across to the US, where the latest US product output growth figures have come out for June, and that chart's just showing the last 3 to 6 months, and just interesting and I guess predictable, the reversal in dry whey production, given what's happening in China and what is happening with the swine flu, as well as the trade disputes. But they're certainly still producing cheese, so there's a lot of whey not getting made into whey products, and also the reversal in skim and not fat dry milk production. So what milk is available is pretty much focused on cheese, and continues to be so in the US.
And those output numbers still running well behind where demand is growing, level of demand growth. So it's still a tighter market for cheese, certainly for powders as well.
Yeah, interesting.
It is. Okay. Well, that's where we'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. We'll be back hopefully next week or maybe the week after.
Yes.
But that's all from us. Goodbye.